Does your English sound dull and boring? Do you use long sentences when you can't get the right word? Or are you stuck with basic English words and using them over and over again? If your answer is yes, sit back, relax and watch this video until the end. Today, I will teach you how to use impactful English words in written and spoken English instead of relying on long and lengthy sentences. By the end of this lesson, you will understand how to use more powerful words to express your thoughts and ideas more effectively and create a lasting impression on the listener. Let's get started. What would you call a person who has a strict opinion on a particular issue and is not willing to compromise at all? You can call them a hardliner. Hardliners are pretty rigid about their ideology. You can't change the way they think quite easily. Here are some examples of using this impactful word. The Prime Minister is a hardliner on welfare policy and will not allow any compromises. My boss is a hardliner and refuses to accept that women can handle managerial positions as good as men. Here is the next one. How would you describe a humor that is dry and often sarcastic? Or a witty and clever humor that takes you by surprise and you can't stop laughing? To describe such humor, you can use a short adjective. Wry. It's just a 3-letter word, wry, but is so impactful. One needs to keep a straight face to have a wry sense of humor. Take a look at these example sentences. She told the joke with a wry smile, making everyone in the room laugh. He had a wry sense of humor and was always able to make people laugh with his witty comments. Isn't it an interesting adjective? I am sure it is. Let's move on to the next one. Now, what word can you use to describe a piece of information that is biased and misleading in nature and is used to promote a particular point of view? You can say propaganda. Propaganda is often used to manipulate people's opinion, emotions, and thought processes. It's mostly used for a political cause. Here are some examples. The government used propaganda to convince the public that the tax raise was necessary. The propaganda machine worked overtime to spread false information about the candidate during the elections. I hope you got it. Up next, what word would you use to describe a very long period of time? Especially when referring to a span of thousands of years in the past. Here's an interesting word, Aeon. I love this word, Aeon. Aeon is used to talk about time periods that are beyond our understanding. A period of time we can't even imagine. Let's understand how to use it in sentences. This research allows us to understand the Aeon processes that formed the Earth. The Indus Valley civilization lasted for eons and left a rich legacy. I can't understand what you are saying even in an Aeon time. That's a figurative way of using the word Aeon in your regular conversations. What do you think about this interesting word? Let me know in the comments and try making a sentence or two so you can remember it better. Moving on the next one. A person who is appointed by the court to make a decision in a dispute between two parties without an actual court trial. To replace this wordy sentence, you can use the word arbitrator. The pronunciation is Arbitrator. Arbitrator. An arbitrator acts as an impartial third party who makes a binding ruling on a dispute, which both parties are expected to abide by. Here are some examples. The two companies agreed to appoint an arbitrator to resolve their disputes. The court appointed an arbitrator to make a final ruling in the case, as the parties were unable to reach a settlement. The next one is something that refers to influence or power by some people to sway a decision-making process or people's perception about something. It's called a clout. A clout is a group of strong, influential people who manipulate policies, opinions, or decisions. Take a look at these examples to understand it better. He has a lot of clout in the industry and can make things happen with just a phone call. Wow, that is someone powerful. Another example, the actor's celebrity clout made him an effective advertiser for social issues. I am sure you have seen him in many advertisements related to social causes. I hope you got the meaning of clout. Let's move on to the next impactful word. How would you describe someone who lacks self-confidence or self-assurance? Here's a better adjective to describe them. Diffident. Diffident people are usually shy and timid. You can call an introvert diffident. Here are some sentences with the word diffident. Despite his impressive qualifications, he remained diffident and never fully justified his role as a leader. He was always diffident around people he didn't know and struggled to make new friends. Do you know a word that refers to a large amount of rain or water falling suddenly and heavily, like a cloud burst? You can use the noun deluge. Say it with me. Deluge. Deluge is a heavy downpour that causes flooding. Now, that's the literal meaning of deluge. You can also use it in the figurative sense to say, a sudden outburst of emotions. Let's look at some examples to understand it better. The city was hit by a deluge of rain that caused widespread flooding. That's an example with its literal meaning. She was overwhelmed by a deluge of emotions as she watched her child walk across the stage to receive an award. And that's the figurative use of the word deluge. I hope you got it, how to use it in both ways, literal and figurative. What would you call a group of people or a collection of things that are similar or the same type? Here's an interesting word to cut this long sentence short. It's bevy. Have you heard this word before? Bevy refers to people who are similar or belong to the same industry. Here are some examples. A bevy of reporters crowded around the politician as he gave his statement. The tech show featured a bevy of smartphone models showcasing the latest technology. Here's the last word from this lesson. What word would you use to say a large number of things that happen in a very short period of time? Here's a great word. Spate. Spate is mainly used to describe a sudden increase in something. Take a look at these examples to understand it better. The company was facing a spate of negative reviews and customer complaints. The city was hit by a spate of burglaries that left residents feeling uneasy. I hope you got it. That's all for today. I hope that this lesson has provided you with a better understanding of the power of using concise, descriptive words in your written and spoken communication. I hope that you will continue to practice using impactful words and refine your writing and speaking skills. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to continue learning and growing your vocabulary.